Hi, it's Colin Cowherd. I started The Volume to bring you some of the most authentic voices in sports. While you're here, make sure you hit subscribe. Thanks. Well, we have quite a news bomb to drop. Tom Brady's coming back. I have gone over this 2 or 3 times on my national radio and TV shows. Days are very long. You sleep 7. I sleep 7 hours a day. I work out for an hour. I eat for an hour. I hang out with my wife. I read. I listen to music. I take naps. And that's about 18 and a half hours. I've got 7 left. And I had said this with Tom Brady. He's going to hang out with his kids. But if your kids have a life, they don't want to hang out with their mid-40-year-old dad all the time. I got kids. My daughter's 21. She lives, in Hollywood. Honey, you want to go for lunch? She's got like 7 options. She doesn't even call me back half the time. She shouldn't. She has a life. My son, he's got friends. Once kids get to 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, it's not that they don't love dad. They got options. And Giselle isn't some stay-at-home mom. She's a supermodel with a 8-9 figure annual income. She's plenty busy. Global travel. So my takeaway on Brady was he has, his convictions, but I predicted after the season ended, he was very ambiguous. I thought there was a chance he retired. And then when he retired, I thought, I'll take him at his word, but I think there's a chance he comes back. It's a small chance. And I think Tom has never really given himself 6 weeks off. I mean, really cleared his head. Go on a vacation, don't take a football, no playbook. He'd never done that in the last 20 years. And I think Tom said, all right, I'm going to have a couple beers, eat some cheesecake, give myself 6 weeks with the family, and came to the conclusion, because he still has his health and he's still an MVP level quarterback this year, he came to the conclusion that I'm really good at football. There's a lot of hours in these days. I'm going to fill it playing football. My kids are more grown. My wife's busy. What are you going to do? Backgammon with neighbors? That's not Tom. Tom is an aspirational guy. I talk about this. I'm certainly not anything like a superstar athlete. I talk to my wife all the time about this. If you're compensated at a very high level and you're doing something you really love and you're still pretty good at it, what are you quitting to? I understand people who work in factories or have to lift things for a living or are in dangerous jobs, firemen, police officers. Hey, man, get out, take the pension. Totally understand it. But glamour jobs, right? Like musicians, athletes, actors, jobs that are in entertainment or news. There's a reason these reporters and these artists are still traveling. Yeah, believe it or not, REO Speedwagon performed this weekend. Why? They were paid a lot. It's fun playing music and being adored by fans. I get it. Tom Brady gave it 6, 7, 8 weeks. He'd never done that before. And he came to the conclusion that a lot of really willful, aspirational people do. I'm bored. I mean, Tom is Mr. Goal Setter, Mr. Achievement. It is hard to go from 0 to 60 for 20 years and then back to 0. And again, I think there's a lot of professional careers that, an attorney, people who lift stuff, like some of this stuff, listen, the medical field. I had a friend years ago who was an oncologist, a cancer doctor. 25 years psychologically, he was beat up. He was done. He was tired. He'd seen death for 2.5 decades. It was time. That's different than football. And Tom's done a remarkable job to stay engaged with younger teammates. And let's be honest about this. He was good this year. And his only loss at the end of the year was to the Rams, who won the Super Bowl. The loser in this, my first thought, the loser in this is Aaron Rodgers. Because all these teams are getting better, all these acquisitions. And what did Green Bay do this offseason? Just pay Aaron Rodgers more. That's how they improved. They paid Aaron Rodgers more. So when Tom retired, one of the things, I think I said it on the podcast, I definitely said it before the end of the season. I said, man, I'd have a hard time retiring if I was Tom. Look at the NFC. And this was before Russell Wilson left. But Trey Lance, we don't know if it's going to work. Matt Stafford, McVay, can they repeat? I mean, Dak, Cowboys, Amari Cooper's gone. Dak's never been good without Amari. The NFC is wide open. To me, Rams are the best teams. Tom's back with Tampa, second best roster. San Francisco, if Trey Lance can play, is probably my third pick. And then Green Bay kind of falls in that Dallas, Arizona, good enough to beat anybody, not good enough to dominate top teams. So the winner in this, Fox TV gets a great quarterback in the NFC. The winner, all football fans. The loser, potentially McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Aaron Rodgers. But the roadblocks are few and far between in the NFC. The bottom of it right now is a mess. I was talking to a friend about this. He's a New Yorker. And I said, this league's getting like NBA top heavy. I said, name the 12 best players between the Jets, Giants, Chargers, Rams. New York had none of them. None of them. The Giants are awful. The Jets are awful. And I said, you start looking at the bottom of the NFC right now. Giants are awful. Philadelphia's not very good. Wentz and Washington should be better, but there are limitations. Atlanta? No. Saints? No. Carolina, unless they land Deshaun Watson, kind of a mess. Arizona, fascinating, but Cliff Kingsbury, yet to win a big playoff game. A lot of drama this offseason. Trey Lance, we don't know. Seattle doesn't have a quarterback now. The bottom of the NFC is large. The bottom of the AFC is like Houston, the Jets. That's it. So this feels good. Little bit of a surprise, not a shock. And I'll say it again, the days are long. Tom Brady figured out after about 6 to 8 weeks, might as well fill him with something I get great enjoyment from, and I'm really good at throwing a football in the NFL.